Hello, my cookies. Welcome to Russell Cooks. Thanks so much for tuning in today. I got gyros. Now, these are a Greek delicacy. Typically have lamb or beef or pork. You can have chicken ones too. Grilled kind of on a spit. You can go to a restaurant and they'll slice it off, and then you get that cooling, tangy tzatziki, a little bit of onion, maybe some cucumbers, maybe some lettuce. I love it. I'm going to try and do a weeknight version of this. If you don't have an Instant Pot, it's fine. You can do this. You just need to marinate it pretty much overnight. I'm doing pork ones today, and then just stick it in the oven, 350 degrees for about an hour. From that point forward, it's pretty much just like you're taking it out of the Instant Pot, which is what I'm going to be doing. Now that we know what we're doing, let's gather our ingredients. For this recipe, you are going to need about 4-pound cut Boston butt. It's a shoulder cut. Don't get a picnic roast. Those will kind of fall apart. They come in netting. No netting. Boston butt, I got it boneless. You're also going to need a lemon, some shredded lettuce or some iceberg or romaine that you can cut up yourself. You need a whole bunch of garlic. I got some store-bought pita bread. These are a little small and they're a little thicker than typical, but they're soft. And I think they're going to be delicious. And maybe it's the universe telling me I need to eat less. You're also going to need some paprika, ground coriander, some dried oregano, red onion. I have made tzatziki on this show at least half a dozen times. I didn't want to make it again, but I have some here. You're also going to need some olive oil. Aside from red onion, I like to garnish with a little bit of cucumber. So I got some cucumber here. And of course, you're going to need some salt. Now that we got our ingredients, let's get started. First things first, I want to trim up this Boston butt. I'm going to slice it into almost like butt steaks, if you will. God, don't be immature. I know what you guys are saying. I'm going to cut them into 3 or 4. I don't want them any thicker than an inch. And this will just help lower the cook time. We're not going to be cooking it to a point where it just falls apart. You want it tender, but a little bit of structure. We're going to try and hit that mark. We're going to make our marinade. If you don't use the Instant Pot, you're going to need a lot more olive oil than I'm going to use. You're also not going to need any water. I'm adding water so that this thing comes up to pressure and I don't get a burn signal. First things first, let's get this Boston butt going. I want about an inch thick. So I'm going to cut this into thirds. I'm also just going to put this right into my Instant Pot. I'll get this guy in there too. Why not? I'll just split it here. Here we go, right in the pot. I'm going to be adding about a half cup water to here. Now that is just an attempt to ensure that it comes up to pressure. Hopefully I don't need more. For the marinade, I'm going to do a couple tablespoons of olive oil. I got some small garlic cloves. I got a couple big ones. I'm not really going to mince them up. I'm just going to kind of smash them, throw them in. We're trying to make this easy, weeknight friendly, yet delicious. For the coriander, ground coriander, I'm going to do about 2 teaspoons coriander. Now remember, this is kind of like a marinade. We're not making a sauce. We just really want to infuse the flavor into the pork. So I'm kind of going all out. If you are marinating this overnight, you can always increase this and definitely put the salt in there. I'm going to put about a tablespoon of kosher salt, give or take. Oregano. Let's do a tablespoon. Let's do a tablespoon of oregano. And then finally, paprika. I'm going to do about 2 hefty teaspoons. So let's mix this around. I might need to add a little bit more oil. I don't want it pasty. Yeah, I'm going to add about a tablespoon more olive oil here. So if you're doing this overnight, even more olive oil. Maybe do upwards of half a cup of olive oil. I did 3 to 4 tablespoons. Time to season up my pork. I'm going to be putting about 1 to 1.5 tablespoons of salt on here. You need a hefty amount, all right? Pork takes it. And remember, some of it's going to get lost too, because we're not using this marinade. It's not a sauce. Kind of infusing the pork with flavor. Now let's get our marinade in there. It's a little extra salt. I felt like I went a little light. Let's get this in here. Seal it up. I have it sealed. Lid is closed. Doing pressure cook, high pressure. And I'm going to set it for 25 minutes. Hopefully that's not too long. And it's on high pressure. Set it and forget it. Now is the perfect time to make your tzatziki if you wanted to. I've already got mine done. And I've got my pita bread. And I've got my shredded lettuce. Just need to slice up some onion and a little bit of cucumber for garnish. Some red onion. I'm just going to slice it thin. It'll be a nice little garnish. I think this is a little bit big, so I'm just going to quarter it and I'm just going to slice this relatively thin. Shooting for 1/8 of an inch thick. Any thinner, it might fall apart. Any thicker, yeah, get a little bit too much in your bite. So 1/8 of an inch here. I don't put tomatoes on mine. I don't know whether that's legit or not, but I don't like it. I'm gonna cut this kind of like I do the red onion. Gonna cut a little thin, 1/8 of an inch. Just gonna garnish with it. So here's the deal. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna pull it out. I'm gonna put it on the tray, and then I'm gonna broil it just to get a little bit of flavorful char. Finished, turning it off, popping the steam. All right, we got our pork. Except for a little bit of gristle. It looks nice and tender. Let me temp it out. I hope it was long enough. Yeah, we're way over. Perfect. We're right at the 195 mark. I don't want it falling apart. All right, you can see the marinade there. This is great. We get a lot of flavor stuck to this pork. Perfect. Look at that. It is kind of falling apart. You can see a little falling apart right here. That's okay. I'm going to get it on here, and I'm going to go shove it under the broiler, and we're just going to broil the junk out of it here. Again, you can do this in the oven. Just takes an hour. And then you pull it out of the oven. You want it pretty much fully cooked there. 110, 120. Not fully cooked to the sense that you can eat it. So you want to take it a little bit higher. You want to go up to at least 150, 160 in a 350 degree oven. And then shove it under the broiler. It's going to take 5, 10, 15 minutes underneath the broiler to get some nice char. I'm going to keep cooking and get a little bit higher. Let's heat my broiler. Let's go. I'm going to start with 5 minutes. Going to keep my eye on it. I'm not going to get rid of the cooked marinade here, all the juices and whatnot. I'm going to hang on to it. I'm going to see how this looks now. After I slice it, if I don't have a lot of juices in there and I feel like I need to add a little bit more flavor, I'm going to add this. We'll play it by ear. All right, we're getting some good browning. We're at the 6-minute mark for the broiler. So depending on how close you are to the broiler, I would say probably 4 or 5 inches away from the broiler. It's going to take you 5 to 10 minutes to get some color on these. I'm going to pull them out. Get some good browning here, here, here. A little bit of char here. Perfect. I'm gonna let this rest. I'm just gonna warm up my pita. So if you want, brush both sides with a little bit of olive oil. Stick it in the oven, toaster oven or whatnot. Toast it up. Just warm it through 30 seconds to a minute. Oh, we are good. It is nice and toasty and warm. So let's slice up a little bit of pork here. I'm just gonna slice it this way. I'm just gonna slice it relatively thin. Oh my gosh. Tender. Oh. It smells good. It looks good. Put it in a bowl and do some long strips here. I am going to add a little bit of this and the leftover pork juices and marinade, maybe 2 or 3 spoonfuls, just to kind of make it glisten. It's always nice when it glistens, right? Nice and juicy. Let's toss this around. All right. I like to start with a little bit of the tzatziki here. I then like to do the lettuce. Otherwise, the lettuce falls out all over the place. Now I'm going to take some of this sliced up meat. Oh, yes. I should start a food truck. Next up, I'm going to put a little bit of onion here and there. I like some cucumber, a little extra crunch, a little extra freshness. All right, now it's time to roll it up. Just going to tuck it and roll it like a burrito. Here we go. Are we ready for this? Tender meat. All that flavor. Got the garlic, coriander, a little bit of that oregano comes through. After slicing the meat, tossing it with a little bit of that leftover kind of marinade and juice in the Instant Pot. And then the tzatziki comes through. It's got a little bit of garlic punch to it. The raw onion had that crunch, zestiness, and then the cucumber, even more freshness. And this tender, warm pita. Good gyro. Gyro. Thanks everyone for tuning in. That was Gyros. If you like what you saw, don't forget to tune in to YouTube and Twitch. I'm also on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. Thanks. I appreciate you. I hope to see you next time. Take care.